there! My name is Brent, and this is the abandoned mining town of Cerro Gordo. Back in the 1800s, this used to be the largest silver mine in California's history. There used to be hundreds of buildings and thousands of residents. These days, it's my home. I've been living up here for the past 3 years, doing stuff like exploring abandoned mines, fixing up old buildings, going on hikes, and a lot more. And in this video, I am very excited about this video because we begin something that I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. All right, so this is a very, very, very exciting video. Not just because it's warm and there's sun outside, but it's because something historic is going on here. Something that I have been dreaming for, hoping, obsessing over for the past 3 years. And that is the framing of the American Hotel has begun. You know, when you envision rebuilding a building, I don't think anybody thinks about the concrete bags that you have to rip open, the cinder blocks, all to build this basement that nobody would ever see. You know, you think about it going back to shape as it was, and we are finally there, which is so, so, so exciting. You know, when we lost the American Hotel almost 3 years ago now, it was devastating. You know, it was the hardest moment of my life, really. You know, it was just the loss of my hopes, my savings, my dreams, but more than that, it was the loss of history. I remember after the hotel burnt down, I was kind of just distraught, not really knowing what I was doing, where I was going, what I wanted to do. And a guy came up to me and he said, listen, you know, you can't change what happened, but you can change what happens from here. You know, what happens from here is up to you. And I remember just laying in my bed, saying that over and over again. And that's really just been my marching orders for the past 3 years. You know, and from there, it's led to just discarding almost anything I wanted to do other than build this hotel. You know, I think this town is important. I think it's inspiring. I think there's magic here. I think allowing more people to experience that magic for future generations is very, very important. And so that's just meant many hours clearing debris, you know, in a backhoe digging trenches, hauling cinder blocks, hauling water, surviving floods, surviving windstorms, surviving winter storms. But we're here now, and the framing is beginning, and I just can't tell you how excited I am and how grateful I am for just everybody that's come along the way. You know, I think all the way back to Sam and Colby. You know, they came up here just days after the fire, and they really exposed this town online for the first time. You know, they said for all of their followers to, you know, come and help in. Then we reached out for volunteers, and we just had people come up and help with everything. You know, thousands of people helping clean debris, you know, move supplies up here, just everything that's needed to rebuild a place. You know, then we have Heavy D and Diesel Dave, you know, that proved that truly nothing's impossible.
Building a hotel here at 8,500 feet is quite the challenge, especially since you guys saw the road that we came up on. So this is the pad, and he needs roughly 90 yards of concrete to be able to pour the floor and the walls and all that kind of stuff to start building the hotel. And none of the concrete companies in town are willing to bring concrete up here. It's a gnarly road, it's risky, so that's why we're here.
You know, not only do we accomplish insane tasks like mixing 81 yards of concrete here on site at the top of a dirt road, or moving a 40,000 gallon water tank up here.
How's it feel? We did it!
But Dave just showed me that anything's possible. He gave me that spark that no matter what we run into in this rebuilding process, we're gonna run through it. We're gonna get to the other side. And even down to the people that watch this channel. You know, every single person watching this channel has played a part in the rebuilding of this hotel. You know, the support, whether it's just an encouraging comment or idea, or just, you know, knowing that so many people care about this place has really gotten us through so many dark times. I think now, what I'm excited about is that it is not dark times anymore. We are on to the framing of the hotel, and the framing means this thing is starting to take shape. But once again, before we can start framing, we had to get all the wood up here. And that means, once again, dealing with our 8-mile steep dirt road. All right, so today's an exciting day. Today is something that we have been looking forward to for a very, very long time. That is the next step of the hotel process. You know, it has been a battle to get the concrete done. We have gone through many trips from down in here in Keeler using that military truck up the hill to get the basement done. I think in total we ended up pouring, I don't know, even close to 200 yards of concrete, thousands of block. So any time now, we should be getting the first delivery of wood, which is big. You know, I think the basement has been by far the hardest part of this whole process. And so I'm hoping that now that we're onto the framing, things go a little smoother. So any minute now, our truck will be coming. We're gonna load it onto here, and then we gotta make our way all the way up there with the wood. All right, we have our wood coming. What you're seeing is the first of the new American hotel arriving down here to Keeler. Already I was starting to imagine people from all over the world congregating, you know, laughing, sharing stories, being inspired, you know, just looking over the vista here, learning about the history, and just leaving with that sense of magic that I get to experience every day here. All right, there it is, the American Hotel. Headed up to Cerro Gordo. There's Scotty. 5 ton is packed. We have a lot of wood to go on up. Off to the hill. Once the wood got up here, this part of the project's been a little bit different. This time I was able to kind of fully hand it over to Kyle, who's our framer. And Kyle's out of Ridgecrest, and he has a company called Southern Sierra Framing, and they have just been amazing so far. All right, so Kyle, what do we got going on today?
We have little intermediate spans down the whole length of the building where we're gonna have some post and beam system, as well as some stem wall or cripple wall systems that carry our first floor joists.
Okay.
So all we're doing is we're pulling perfect parallel numbers off of our starter wall out here, and then we're just keep working with it all the way down. So that way, from our starter wall, our post and beam and systems are perfectly in line all the way down the length, and we have equal floor joists.
Cool. You know, Kyle has been on time, ahead of the game, just planning all the time, and it just feels relieving to have somebody to kind of pass the ball to. I feel like on every other step of the project, I still am so involved, whether it's mixing the concrete by hand or laying some of the blocks by hand or bending rebar. But at this point, Kyle is kind of taken away and he's putting up all the wood.
So what you see right now is we have a post and beam system that breaks up the basement floor in different sections. And so the first floor system here is pretty much repetitive all the way across. So we're just doing it section by section. Run our rim joist around that, post and beam, and then fill it in with these TJI joists here. We do have a couple sections in here where we do change up a little bit. We have a cripple wall system that builds off of these short stem walls down here in the basement. But it's pretty much the same. It's just, it will be a wall instead of a post and beam. Cool. For the joists to land on.
Hell yeah.
What do you think so far?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah? Is it nice to see wood?
Finally, you know, because for the longest time we've been dealing with concrete.
2 years of ugly gray concrete block.
Now it actually looks like a building.
Site.
So what's this called when you put the plate on top like that?
It used to be called mud sill.
Okay.
That's what my dad told me.
So all these are the anchor bolts from coming out of the concrete, and that's what ties kind of the whole building together.
Ties the building too.
Cool. So what I've been working on while Kyle has been cranking away on the hotel has just been getting this town ready for the next storm. You know, we had a really bad storm about a month ago, And to be honest, we just weren't ready. You know, we got caught with our pants down a little bit. You know, we've been short-staffed up here, and with the hotel project and so many other projects, we were just stretched to the max. And I think that's a learning process. You know, I think a big part of this channel has been just seeing me have to adapt to everything that goes into running and maintaining an old ghost town. You know, everything from living without running water, to operating heavy machinery, you know, to exploring abandoned mines, to fixing old buildings, to managing all the help when we get the help. It takes a lot, you know, and we just weren't quite ready for this last winter storm. But they say you should hope for sunshine and plan for rain. And so if I look out right now, the sun is shining, but I am definitely planning for rain. You know, I've been going around these last few days doing everything from gathering more firewood to moving it to better locations, you know, cleaning the roads that I can clear with snow with the Kubota. All right, so we got this road now cut up. Now I'm gonna get to the hoist house because we're gonna put all the machines in the hoist house. As you can tell, better weather, so we're gonna try to take advantage of it, get the snow out of the way, get all of our vehicles covered up in the hoist. And so just doing work with the little Kubota. I think it's looking pretty good. Maybe do 1 or 2 more passes here. Hopefully the sun melts it down even more. And we're gonna get going, moving vehicles up to the hoist. So this is our barn. Come springtime, we're gonna try to build a vehicle shack separately, but for now, since we're not using this that much, this will at least keep them all safe from the elements. You know, sealing up all the buildings that can be sealed up, just stocking up on water, food, you know, melting snow so we can continue running dishes and things like that. And just everything that goes into wintertime up at Cerro Gordo. You know, it's not the most fun things to do, but it's something that's necessary just to continue living up here, you know, year after year. And while I was doing that, it just got me thinking towards the spring, you know, towards the next season. What do I need to do now to be prepared for that? And I think with that, I am thinking more visitors. You know, spring is gonna be more visitors. There's going to be more volunteers hopefully coming up. There's gonna be more progress on the hotel. And so right now I'm just kind of managing, how are we going to manage when more and more people come up? And that means probably staffing up a little bit, creating brochures, almost pamphlets for people to take, learn from, walk around the town, maybe even like an audio recording, maybe some better signs that we're working on, all things that we need to do now so we are prepared for spring. And so it's not the most exciting stuff. It's not stuff to show a ton on camera, but I think the preparation mode is definitely kicked in. And as we're going on the hotel, behind the scenes, it's just a lot of prep work for the coming seasons. So already people told me that, hey, you know, when it comes to framing, it's gonna go a lot faster than the basement did. And that's true. You know, we already have up, I'd say, 1/4 of the floor joists for the first floor. And seeing it and just being able to walk over it just makes it feel like we're actually building a building. You know, for the longest time, it felt like we were building this strange concrete wall for no real reason. But now it's already has a little bit of life. You know, it already has a little bit of a feel. I can already imagine, again, people just congregating there, dancing when we have dueling pianos going from each side. It's just so exciting. And for me, obviously, this hotel, I want to stand for many, many years. You know, it's never gonna be the original hotel, but it is gonna be a hotel in a couple hundred years that is a couple hundred years old. But in any way that I can, I'm trying to incorporate the old hotel within it, you know, to give it a little bit of that soul, a little bit of that feel, a little bit of that energy that was up here since 1871. And when the original hotel burned down, I remember I spent a few days just kind of going through the ashes, looking for anything that was salvageable. And luckily I was able to save a couple boards that we're gonna incorporate into it, but I was also able to save tons of nails. So all of these are nails that I collected with a magnet from the original American Hotel. So you can tell they're all square nails. A lot of them are bent that aren't gonna work, but there's some straight ones. And my hope is to take as many of these as I can, put it down there in the new American Hotel. You know, obviously that's not a huge bit of it, but part of that hotel will have some of the original in it. And hopefully the spirit of John Simpson and everybody maintains, and it'll be a fun little thing to have done. So gonna go down there now. Hopefully Kyle's at a point where I could maybe throw in some joists or something and put in some of these square nails. All right, so those are the nails going down to the new hotel. Let's carry them down. Hotel going into the new hotel.
Right on.
You know, to know that part of that hotel is being supported by the same nails that supported the first hotel, it means that no matter how small, some of that original American hotel is in this one. And it's never going to be exactly the same, but again, I can imagine in a number of years, it's going to have just as many stories, you know, it has just as big of history, it has just as exciting a feel that I imagine when the original hotel opened. And recently what I keep looking at is I keep looking at the announcement for the American Hotel when it first came out. There's this newspaper article that says, you know, Mr. and Mrs. John Simpson are happy to announce the American Hotel. And I think it ends with something that says basically like, we welcome the public's patronage. And I just can't wait for that day myself. You know, I can't wait to open up the hotel to all of you out there to just enjoy it. You know, it's been such a journey and I have so many people to thank, including every person watching. But that day when we're able to open up, we can flood in, we can start creating new memories there. It's just gonna be such a beautiful day. And so once again, I just have to say thank you. Truly, truly thank you. Every single person that's watching this has been a huge part of getting this hotel open again. You know, it's just the wind behind my back during this whole process. It's what gets us through floods, it's what gets us through all these different headaches. And I just think it's so cool to see people rallying around a piece of history. You know, when we look back to John Simpson and his hotel, we don't know exactly how it was built, but this hotel has been so documented, so touched by so many people that it's beautiful. You know, it's truly become this community project, and one that I hope that so many people are proud of, because so many people have played a hand in keeping it going.